Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to my channel, Vessels from Paradise. My name is Raisa, and today I want to share with you a spooky story time of the time that I went to Mexico. So this was the year 2010, and I ended up going to Mexico. I lived there for 3 to 4 months. But I just want to preface the story by letting you know that before going to Mexico, I had no idea what the Santa Fe was. I grew up not quite religious, but I do identify as an Orthodox Christian. So in my practice of religion, we do not do like statues or images particularly. They're just the 2D images. It's not a lot of like items or images. Like we don't do altars, we don't do those type of things, if you will. So I just want to preface by saying that because it was all foreign to me. I was baptized Catholic, I guess I'll add that, but I don't quite particularly practice the Catholic style of Christianity, and that's why all of the way that the religion is practiced in Mexico was quite foreign to me. Anyways, so again, this was 2010. I ended up going to Mexico City, so Mexico, Estado de Mexico, Mexico State. And the area particularly that I lived in was up north. So this was out in the rural area. And basically, if you are from Estado de Mexico, this is Tepozotlan, but Cabañas. So that's what we would call it, Cabañas. Like at this point, like I have no idea like what it's actually called, like how to like say the address of where I lived, but I know how to get there. So how I ended up going to Mexico was that I was having a rough time in that year, and basically we had a friend from Mexico and he was working here. His wife was back in Mexico with his children, so he was pretty much working in order to move here to Canada. And at that point, like, you know, he saw me in a bad state, so he was like, you know what, Raisa, like, why don't you, he's like, I'm going to invite you to go to Mexico and you can stay with my wife and my kids, and you know, maybe that'll be the change that you need. So I literally was like, you know what, like, okay, like it sounds good, right? I've always been super open, like, you know, with cultures and other places. Like I have no problem with going to live with people that I have no idea like who they are. Maybe that's weird about me, but I have no problem like just going into a new place. That being said, I absolutely hate change and I don't adapt well. Maybe that has to do with it, I don't know, but I can go to a new place and be there. I'm a person, like I can be uncomfortable and still be in a place. Anyways, I feel like all of that has relevance because I'll probably share more of that trip in other story times. And yeah, a lot of it like was uncomfortable, but going back to this story, so we would go around like literally our day consisted of waking up, getting the kids ready, taking the older child to school. Then we would go with the other children and go to the tianguis, so that's the market. We'd go to the tianguis, have breakfast there, and then you know we would either stay in the tianguis, you know, walk around a little bit, or go to like a mall or go somewhere else. But there was always like a lot to do. And I remember one time, like, we were going, I don't remember where we were going, but it was like going off, like the off ramp was going into the highway, and there was a statue of the Santa, and literally, like, when I saw it, like, I can see like auras, so it was really dark. There was a dark statue, like there was like a dark mist around it, and I literally was like, what is that? And then, you know, the girl that I was staying with, she was like, oh, that's the Santa, whatever. And I was like, oh my god, like, I've never seen that before, like, what does it mean, like, you know, and all of that. I just started asking like the 500 million questions. What is it, like, what does it mean, and, you know, what's the significance, and blah, 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 whatever. I want to know the history right then and there. And, you know, she starts telling me, and so at this point, like, I was just like, and the part where, like, the scary part was that she's telling me all of this, right? And I'm like, well, why are there people like bent down on their knees to it? And she's like, what people? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, what people? I was like, yeah, like, what people, right? Like, the way that I saw it with the image and like the dark aura, I saw people surrounding it, like, and it was a lot of people, okay? And they were down on their knees, and they all looked in a really bad state, like putrid, like how we say in Spanish, like chupados. Like, they literally were like calavéricos, so like skeletal, and like they all looked in a really bad state. But in that moment, I was like, damn, like, I'm seeing stuff that she's not seeing because she didn't see the people. And that was the first time that I came across it, like, that I saw it. And I did see like other statues like throughout like the city, because like I said, we would like go around a lot, and every time I would see, like, I'm talking like droves of people just standing and, like, you know, like praising it. And it was just such an odd image for me because I had never seen anything like that. And, you know, like, I'm from Canada, I'm from Toronto, and like, I know the Canadian history, like, there's some darkness to it as well, but that was my first time that I had ever seen something so scary in my life. And never again have I seen something like that. But not that Mexico has some darkness, but it has some darkness, and I did see a lot of it. But that was just one of like my awakening, if you will, like one of those moments where I was like, damn, like, what am I seeing? Like, what am I seeing? And I was quite scared. Like, my heart started racing, like, I felt heavy, and it was just a heavy feeling that I had in that moment, like, especially in that moment that I realized that I was the only one seeing it. I never mentioned it to her in the whole time that I knew her and that I was staying there. I never mentioned it that I saw people. Like, that conversation just stayed right there. But yeah, that's my story that's the story of seeing La Santa in Mexico, and it had a great impact on me. But yeah, so if you want to see more stories like this, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I can share like my other stories that I have made, the stories that I'm referring to of being there. I probably will make it into a series, so definitely check back for that. Again, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Insta as Besos from Paradise, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao, muñecas. Bye.